He's gay?
He's gay! You didn't see it!
Congratulations, Dan.
The 7 levels of UFC fighters. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time, not only for people who are getting into the sport, but for people to see kind of my opinion on where certain UFC fighters fit in the grand scheme of things. The way that I'm going to attack this video, and I'm going to kind of attack each level of this, this mountaintop, if you will, is I need you to envision you are climbing up Mount Everest. You're starting at the bottom, and each level is going to be somebody you're seeing along your journey to the very top of the mountain, which in this case is level 7. So in honor of that, and in honor of this video, I need you to subscribe down below. So go and do that right now, please. For the love of God, pause the video and subscribe. Let's start with level 1. Level 1 is the guy at the very, very bottom of the mountain. Somebody that is staring in fear at the top of the mountain. They don't even want to think about going up there. In fact, they look like they might just be packing their bags and are on the way out of the trip instead of getting excited to climb. So level 1 to me is represented no better than a guy named Jose Medina. Now, if you don't know Jose Medina, don't worry, you'll get to know him at UFC Mexico City because he is genuinely the worst fighter in the UFC currently. Jose Medina not only is 0-3 in actual UFC competition, he in fact lost on the Contender Series to Magomed Gadzhimagomedov, who by the way is not some elite guy in the UFC. I believe he has also been cut by the promotion. So he is a loss to a guy that's no longer in the UFC. Another loss to a guy that has never been special in Zach Reese, that will never be ranked. Atiba Gautier, pretty good loss, but he got KO'd in the first round. And Dusko Todorovic, who has been nothing but hit or miss his entire career, never going to sniff a ranking in his life. So a guy that is 0-4 in the UFC is not going to see the rankings, not going to see a next fight after this one, to me is somebody who is at the very, very bottom of the mountain and is probably on their way down, to be honest with you, as opposed to up. I think Jose Medina is the type of guy, you get to Mount Everest, you're super ecstatic, you're like, oh my God, me and my boys, we're all going to climb the mountain, let's do this shit. Jose Medina's with you guys, he looks at you and he says, guys, I got to bow out of this one. The wife is calling me, we've got an emergency walk we have to take our fish on. So he's headed back home. Let's move on to level 2. Now, level 2 is a guy where you take your first couple steps of the mountain, right? You're kind of going up. You're like, okay, let's see what there is to see out here. And you see a guy that is stuck in place. He only got about 20 feet up the mountain, and then he decided, I'm just going to camp here for the rest of my life. And when I feel like it, I'll climb back down. That, to me, is the best represented by a guy named Cedricus Dumas. Cedricus Dumas is about as ass as UFC fighters can come that have wins. Cedricus Dumas' UFC record is officially 3-4 with a no contest, about as mid as you can be in the UFC. However, instead of being level 3, Cedricus has to be level 2 for a couple of reasons. Ignoring the fact that I'm pretty sure he's been arrested over 10 times while he's been in the UFC. He was found in a dog cage at one point while hiding from police officers. The other thing is that the guy is genuinely terrible at fighting. Go and do yourself a favor. Go watch the UFC 314 Volkanovski vs. Lopez prelims. Go to Watch MMA Full. Go to UFC Fight Pass. I think Paramount probably has the full card on 314. Go and watch him versus Mikhail Oluwachechuk. He's terrified to absorb strikes for the entirety of those minutes that the fight took place. It couldn't have been more than a 4-minute fight. You look at his fight with Dante Johnson. He just laid on his back and accepted being wrestled to the ground. He did not throw a meaningful strike in the entirety of that fight. In every single fight he's lost, it has been dominant. It's not even been close. He's never lost a decision because he's never gotten to the decision in a loss. And all of his wins are against the lowest of the low in the UFC. So Cedricus Dumas, he got a couple feet up the mountain. He said, holy shit, this is terrifying and I'm cold. I want to go back home so I can go back to hiding in dog crates again. Cedricus Dumas is the level 2 representative. And as we move up the mountaintop in the levels of the UFC, I'm going to give more honorable mentions. Cedricus Dumas is a pretty easy level 2 guy. I don't know if I have anyone that I would quite put on the level of him at level 2. But as we move up, I'll give you some honorable mentions. So don't worry, I'm not leaving anybody out. Let's move on to level 3. Now, we take a tremendous leap in skill when we go to level 3. Right, you're going up like a bunch of feet. You're going up hundreds of feet on the mountain. Probably, I don't know how tall Mount Everest is. I'm just going to say thousands of feet, but who the fucking know? I don't know how tall Mount Everest is. I'm not a geographer, a geoscientist. I don't know what the word is. Regardless, level 3. This is somebody, right? You're climbing up the mountain, you're doing good, you've had a couple nights on the mountain now, you're moving up slowly, you're like, holy shit, we're really high up now, we're making progress. You're about halfway up the mountain when you get to level 3. You can start to kind of think about what's it going to be like when we get to the top. You have moments where you feel this euphoric feeling of, oh my God, we're really going to do this thing. But you also sit down and realize one night, holy shit, that has been so tiring and it's been so long and we're only halfway up. Nobody represents this level better than Randy Rude Boy Brown. Randy Brown in his UFC career is 13-7. He has wins over all the guys he should beat, and he has losses over all the guys he should lose to. Randy Brown has always been very talented, but has never quite been able to make the jump, right? A guy that has been perennially outside of the top 15, probably in that 20 to 16 range of guys at welterweight for his entire career, and now he's getting a little too old for it to matter at this point. You take a look at the losses here, they're all against good opponents aside from like Michael Graves. He has a loss to Bilal Muhammad, Vicente Luque, Jack Della Maddalena, Gabriel Bonfim. All very talented fighters, all ranked. Bonfim's going to continue to ascend up the rankings. Very talented fighters, all of them individually. In fact, 2 of them are the former champions in Bilal Muhammad and JDM. Now, he has wins over the guys he should beat. Brian Barberena, Jared Gooden, Chaos Williams, Muslim Salikov. All solid wins over guys that will never amount to anything in the UFC. Randy Brown is the epitome of a level 3 guy, right? He's got a little bit up the mountain. He's even had some success getting into the rankings, getting into the, 12 to 15 range at welterweight, but never ascending past that. Randy Brown is only looking down at how high up he is, and he's scared to go any further because he knows he cannot make it to the top of the mountain. He's got nothing left in the tank. Randy Brown is a guy that I believe is probably going down before he goes up again. So Randy Brown is at level 3 in the UFC fighter levels, I guess. Let's move on to level 4. We don't have to go much further up, but we're going a little further up on the mountain now. Level 4. This is somebody to me who is a perennial top 15 guy. Someone that could have reached very close to the mountain. They tripped on a rock, they slipped on a banana peel, they got stuck on the mountain, and they fell back down tremendously. This is the type of guy you run into, right? You're happy, you and your whole group, you're like, we can't believe we're moving so quickly up this mountain, and you see a guy slowly walking back down. Or in fact, in this guy's case, a guy tumbling back down at a very rapid pace. You can tell that the top of the mountain is no longer in his sights. He is on a slow, painful descent to the very bottom of the mountain. Nobody represents level 4 better to me than Gilbert Durinho Burns. Gilbert Burns did nearly reach the peak of the mountain. In fact, he was a matter of seconds away from the very top of the mountain. When he challenged Kamaru Usman for the belt at I cannot remember which pay-per-view it was versus Kamaru Usman, but when he challenged Kamaru Usman for the belt, he knocked him down. He hurt him early in the fight. A matter of a couple of well-timed punches and finishing shots before he was at the top of the mountain shouting victory and laying claim rather to the welterweight title. But instead, Gilbert Burns is on his way back down. A loss to Bilal Muhammad in which he hurt his shoulder. A win where JDM reversed him and kneed him in the face to put an end to an immediate run back to the belt in round 3. And then a drastic slip versus Sean Brady where he mounted 0 offense over 5 rounds, looked terrible, looked old, looked like he didn't have anything in the tank, and it was a sad fight to watch. And then finally, even sadder, the time that we saw our group, right, going up the mountain, by the time we saw Gilbert Burns, we're now seeing him after the Michael Morales loss. Now we know Michael Morales is very talented. There's no shame in losing to him. But Gilbert Burns barely landed a punch. He looked terrified of Michael Morales the whole time. He looked slow in exchanges. He got hurt quick, often, and brutally, was put down, ultimately put out on the ground. And, now he's got a main event, right? He's got another main event, probably undeserved versus Mike Malott, to be honest with you. I'm not really a fan of the booking at all. But if he loses to Mike Malott I believe they're moving to Winnipeg. In Winnipeg, if Gilbert Burns loses to Mike Malott, he will be on a 5-fight losing streak in a matter of inches from the very bottom of the mountain, sitting with Cedricus Dumas and Jose Medina, and risking retirement at his age of 39. So Gilbert Burns, You hate to see a guy rolling down the mountain, but he's tumbling slowly, painfully, or he's kind of tumbling quickly at this point because he's all done this in a matter of a couple years. But the guy's falling down the mountain and he's not coming back up anymore. And you can tell by the way that he has performed in his last two fights specifically. Let's move on to level 5. Now, level 5, we go to a much, much more positive note. These guys, level 4 and level 5, are the exact same ranking in different divisions, but are in exactly opposite circumstances. One guy is tumbling down the mountain, the other guy is sprinting up the mountain. This is a guy who, he had a little stumble, right? He tripped over a rock, he gashed open his knee. He thought, a lot of people thought, they walk past him, they go, oh, that guy's not making it up fucking Mount Everest for sure. And then all of a sudden, you look up and you're like, holy shit, how did he get back in front of us? This is a guy, a younger guy rather, who is on his way up, and it seems like the mountaintop is only a matter of time because he is in a quick ascent up Mount Everest. To me, Peyton Talbot fits this. Peyton Talbot started off as a guy sprinting up the mountain. He's running as fast as he can. He passes you guys, kind of doing the take the L emote from Fortnite back in the day, to your group because he realizes he's going to run up the mountain with no problems. Little does he know a goddamn pebble is in his way and he's going to trip right over it. Raoni Barcelos dominated him at the beginning of 2025. 30-27 on all cards. Almost got finished at the end of round 3. Was dating Frank Ocean. He might still be, to be honest with you. We need you to break up with him so he can drop the album, but that's a separate conversation for a separate day for you, Peyton Talbot. Then he comes back, right? He tripped over the pebble. He picked himself up by the bootstraps, and he beats Felipe Lima. He starts walking again up the mountain, and he's still moving at a brisk pace. He then gets picked up by a helicopter. A helicopter says, we're going to drop you in the coldest part of this mountain. You know what I mean? We're going to test what you're really made of, even though you probably don't deserve it. You're going to get Henry Cejudo. He goes out there, puts on the performance of a lifetime against Henry Cejudo, who, while washed, was still giving Sandy Down problems, was still giving Merab Dvalishvili problems. And Peyton Talbot went in there and shut him down, beat the hell out of Henry Cejudo, and is now number 11. And to me, it's a matter of time until Peyton Talbot sees a belt, or at least an opportunity at a belt. It is not if, it is when for Peyton Talbot. He sprinted past a group of us trying to work our way up the mountain, and we don't know if we're ever going to catch him. So Peyton Talbot, to me, is level 5 for UFC fighters. Level 6. We have 2 more levels to talk about, including this one. So if you haven't already, leave a like on the video. Comment down below if there's anybody you feel based on how I've described it has better represented the levels than what I've given. Level 6. This to me is a guy that has held the belt before, a guy that was at the top of the mountain. And you know what? The helicopter picked him up. He didn't want to walk all the way back down. He went back to his family. He lived with it for a few years. He was like, wow, I really reached the top of the mountain. And then he got comfortable, right? All of a sudden, someone beat his time up the mountain. Someone's having more fun at the mountaintop than he is. Someone took your place, right? You can't be at the top of the mountain forever. Eventually, you got to go back down. And these are guys, to me, who had the belt. They reached the top of that Mount Everest, and now they want to get back to the top. They lost it, and they lost a part of themselves, and they want to get that part of them back. To me, no one represents this better than Charles do Bronx Oliveira, a man who reached the pinnacle of the sport. A defense of his belt against Dustin Poirier, what should have been a defense of his belt against Justin Gaethje. And then he had to go against a hydrogen bomb, which was Islam Makhachev, who took his spot on the top of the mountain. Charles Oliveira was standing at the top of the mountain. Islam Makhachev hit him with a Sean Strickland-esque push kick to the body and knocked him down a couple of feet. And Charles Oliveira since then has been winning some and losing some, but he proved in the Mateusz Gamrot fight that a lion is still a lion at the end of the day, and he has one final title run in him, one final ascent up this mountaintop he's going to attempt to do, and we'll see in March, in about a week now, whether he can really still perform at the highest level. To me, that's what level 6 is, right? There are a couple of guys you could put here. Sean O'Malley would be another guy at level 6 that I think, someone trying to make that run up to the top. You could even count a Justin Gaethje who had an interim belt that is attempting to get back to the title again. Merab, for all I know, could count for level 6. And obviously, these are guys that they might get the belt back, they might not, but they're one step off of the top because level 7 to me are the current champions. These are the guys who are sitting at the top of the mountaintop. They're fucking flipping you off. They're pissing you off that they're flipping you off. A lot of rhyming there. Shout out. But you're looking at them, you can see them, they're within reach now at the top of the mountain, but they don't want to move. They've planted their flag in the ground and they don't want to go anywhere. This is someone who went through the tough times and has come out unscathed to me. The best of the champions is who should represent level 7. And to me, it's Ilia Topuria. We're talking about a guy who's 17-0, almost all finishes, whether it be KOs or submissions. A guy who really, truly has not had many slip-ups in the UFC. I mean, we're talking about Jai Herbert knocking him down with a head kick briefly in a fight where he was up a weight class at the time. Now he is a lightweight currently. We're talking about a guy who's on a Legends tour, knocking out Volkanovski, knocking out Max Holloway, knocking out Charles Oliveira, and now wants to put an end to the Justin Gaethje attempt to get the belt back. Ilia Topuria represents the pinnacle of MMA, where all of the martial arts are blended together, a super well-rounded fighter, and a guy that I'm not sure at 145 or 155 if anyone can beat him. There are guys staring him down over his shoulder like an Arman Sarukian, but are they going to beat him? I don't know, because right now he's sitting at the top of that mountain, and we're all just pawns in Ilia Topuria's game, aren't we? So, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. I tried to give you a little bit of a story time, right? You know, it's lame for me to just sit here and go, oh, well, level 1 actually includes 3 fighters, and they fit this criteria, and I actually think that makes the most sense for how to do this video. No, I think it should be, let's tell a little story, let's have a little fun on the Money Manziel MMA channel. It's a pleasure having you. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. My TikTok is at Money Manziel MMA. My X is at Money Manziel MMA. Go and follow me over there. I live tweet all of the fights all the time. I tweet about random UFC shit. I might just tweet about the world, so you never know what you're going to get over there. If you don't like my TikToks, go to my YouTube Shorts tab and go watch one of those. Comment down below, who do you think is at the very bottom of the mountain? Who do you think is at the very top of the mountain? Give me your own representation of what you think the levels of MMA should be. And let me know whether you agree or disagree with the guys in their position. So I appreciate all of you for tuning into the video. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out, boys.